Hello, it's me, and it's time to make good on my promise of showing how to do a 5x5 with an alternative reduction. Now, we all know that to do a puzzle like this, you reduce it to a 3x3. The way that you do that is you take these centers and you just reduce them. Well, you reduce the centers first, like this, then you reduce the edges, and then you solve it as a 3x3. So no problems, no parities, no problems, pretty straightforward but fun to solve. But what if we were to reduce it to a 3x3 in a different way, where there's a different pattern, where we defined our pieces as a little bit different? In other words, these aren't collectively the center, only this is the center. Let's call this what it is. This is really an edge piece, and these are corner pieces. They're specified corner pieces. An edge piece is something that articulates right with the center. So we'll say that this is an edge. And the corner piece is something that is on either side of a edge piece, which are these two. These are outer corners and these are inner corners. So we could define this as these are specialized corners, they're central corners, and these are corner edges. So we won't call this an actual edge piece, but a corner piece. So if we were to reduce it like that, well, it would look like this. So why not just call it a 3x3 like this and say that these are all specialized corners over here. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces together. Reduce all these as corners. Say that these 3 pieces together are edges, reduce them as edges, and center pieces remain as centers. These aren't really centers, they don't behave like centers, it doesn't go all the way down to the core like this does. This is an edge piece that clicks into the center and either another center or another edge piece, and these corners go on either side of edges. So my challenge was to reduce it like this and to solve it like this, and I did have a couple of people who had done so, had done it their own way, which was actually really good. But what I'm going to do is show you what I believe to be kind of the quickest way of doing this. So let's go ahead and mess this puppy up and see how we can navigate this again. Abracadabra. Okay, staring back at us is a scrambled 5x5. So here's what I would do. I usually like starting off with the green side. That was the first Rubik's Cube that I solved. My green side was first, so to pay homage to that, I continue to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to start the process of reduction. First, we'll go ahead and do the edges. So here's a red one over here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to start putting colors in. So I'm going to look for a white that goes over here. Move this down, bang. So now this is reduced. All right, that's no problem. Here's red. Let's find a yellow, but I don't want to destroy this. So here's a yellow inner corner here. Move this up, move this in, and move this down. Now the more that I'm doing this, the more I'm locking certain pieces in place. So now these can't move. This is reduced and this is reduced. We have this reduced over here. I have to find a white. See if I can find a white up here. If I can't find one, well, I'll have to move one up there. So what will suffice? This will. So I'm going to move this here, take it out, move this back. So now this has to join with this guy here. Move this out of the way, pump it up, bring it in, move it back. All just positioning using a little bit of intuition. Okay, here's an orange. I want to put a green one here. Where am I going to find that? How about over here? Bring this up. Whoop. Actually, looking for an orange one here. I don't see that over here. So what I can do instead is take this, move it down, bring it like this. Well, yep, move this down here and then bring this back. So it's kind of fun because there's a lot of positioning. There's no algorithms, no strategies really. You're just positioning, seeing what works. All right, do we have a green here? We do. Move this in. Splat, clunk. So without doing a lot of hunting, you're generally going to find what you need. We've got these edges reduced. Now I want to get these corners reduced. The best way to get them reduced is we're going to use these corners as our guide and start filling in all the other corner pieces based on this. So I need to find the yellow and red. Do I find one up here? More often than not, you probably will. If not, it's not that hard to find. So how about over here? Looking for the yellow and red here. It might actually even be down here. It's right over here. So I'm going to take this, pop it up here, move it out of the way, pop this back down. Okay, now I need to turn this upside down because I want to put it into here. So what I'm going to do is bring this up, and bring it back down. You don't necessarily have to, well, I guess you do have to bring it back down. So now this comes down to here. Take it out of the way, move this piece up, bring it in, and move it back down. So that's popped into here. Blue and red. Do I happen to have it here? Yeah, but it's the wrong one. It's the wrong shape, so there won't be any issues with parity there. Find the other blue and red. Do I see it here? Yep, I see it right here. So what I want to do is I simply want to move this up to here. What I can do is just do the algorithm to take these edges and pop it up to here. U, R, U, I, R, I, U, I, F, I, U, F. So now it's here. And I find that, there it is right over here. So I need to move this into here without destroying anything that I might have put here. I haven't put anything in here yet, so I'm just gonna move it in. Well, actually I don't want to destroy this. So move it out of the way, bring this up, bring it in, and bring it down. So now I've got these over here. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna work on these yet. I'm just gonna work on this layer down here, so I need to put a red one here. Now the good thing about this is I have a lot of various ways that I can put a red one in. I need to find one, maybe put it in this position here. I've got this, so to move this into here, I'm actually going to move it in this position just below where it's supposed to be and do my swinging U technique. Now a variation of that. What that is I'm going to take this and move it into here. If I were to do it as a swinging U technique, put this U on the top, and I'll move this in on the left side. So move it on the left, swing it to the right, swing the U to the right, bring down on the right. Swing it back to the left, move this back on the left, swing it back to the right, and move this back, which undoes that. As a result, you won't destroy anything here, and you'll put this in. So we'll keep giving examples of that. We move on to here. So I'm looking for the corners, I'm looking for red and green. Here's a red and green here. Is it the right one? Sure, it's just upside down. So in order to turn that right side up, I'm going to move it down like so, bump it out of the way, move this back. Once I've done that, this can now find a home down here, out of the way, bring this up, place it in, bring it down. Yellow, or rather orange and green. Do I happen to have it here? More often than not, you will. It's right here. So move it out of the way, bring this into position, put this into its slot, and bring it down, and bang. Find a green one. This green one will work. I just have to bring it here. Swinging U technique. Put this in the up position. All the swinging U technique is you move it. You're doing an L, R, I, L, I, R. That's all. And you're just swinging the U between the L and the R position. So you're doing a move and you're undoing the move, swinging the U back and forth. Hence the swinging U technique. So we have an L, swing the U to the R position. So it doesn't matter, you don't have to memorize if it's U or UI. Just put it, make sure that whatever U move you're doing is swinging it to the other side. If it's an L, you're swinging it to an R. If it's an R, you're swinging it to the L. That way you don't have to remember which one. So we'll do a L, swing it to the R. RI, swing it to the L. LI, swing it to the R. R, swing it back. So that's a way of putting this in without looking at that. So, well, this is already in here, but now we got to get this one. So white and orange. Right over here, but you can tell it's the wrong one. It's flipped wrong. And it's right here. So I just need to blast this up. So all that means is I move this up, take it out of the way, move this down. So here's a white and orange. It's not this one, it must be this one. I got to turn this upside down. So I'm going to move this up, turn it out of the way, move it down. So now this has been turned upside down. Move it out of the way, bring it up here, and bring it down. So now this is in. So orange and blue, try to find it here somewhere. Don't see it there, so maybe it's here somewhere. No, actually it's here, so we just have to pop this one out. So pop it out, take it out of the way, pop it back. This has to be turned upside down. So I don't want to destroy this one, so what I'm going to do, what I can do is I can basically bring this here and then bring it back. So turn, 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 turn. And there's a variety of ways you can do that. So this is here, and I'm going to move this up over here. It's the same edge swapping technique that you do for a 3x3. And now that's in position to come here. Move it up, turn it, move it in and down. So that's in. Now I need to do the yellow and blue. can't find it. So let's see if it's here somewhere. Can't find it there. So it must be here somewhere. Still can't find it. There it is. I kept looking through it. Anyway, this has to come down here, up, turn, and down. Okay. So believe it or not, we've done our first layer. So now what I want to do is I want to put these guys in. So first thing is I'm going to put the corner in here, or rather the edge piece here in, well, it's the corner edge piece. So blue and white, is it up here? If it's not, then it must be, or it could be here or here. Blue and white is here. So I'm going to take this and move this up to here. It's not going to damage anything here because it's only going to move these edges. UR, UIRI, UIFI, Now I'm assuming knowledge of these algorithms, which is how you solve the 3x3. So now this can come to here without destroying any of this. Turn, 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 and turn. So we're good. Put a white one in. We can get it from, well, pretty much anywhere. Get it from here. Move it down, turn, 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 and turn. So that's in. Blue, get it from here. I can put this in the form of a swinging U technique by saying RI, swing it to the left, L, swing it to the right, R, swing it to the left, Li, swing it to the right. So that's it. So this whole block is now reduced. Same thing here. Let's find the orange and yellow. Right here, it was in front of me. So turn, 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 and turn. This is good. Now I just put these central corner pieces in. Orange, we can use this one. Turn. This is the same as a layer by layer approach. I'm just applying it to this. Yellow, we can use this. So I'm keeping to the purity of my reduction and done. So this is done. Now I put this one in here. Blue and orange. This guy, I'm going to move this up to here. At some point, somebody had the idea of how to solve these puzzles, how to reduce them. And I'm wondering how much of what we do is because of one person's idea and it just caught on and that's how it's always been done. What if somebody had the idea to do it like this originally? Would this be the standard way? Probably not. Anyway, yellow, this comes into here. But I kind of like this way that I'm doing because there's a lot less fumbling and hunting for pieces. There's some of that, but it's so easy to find pieces that'll do. Okay, now we have this one, red and yellow, plus it's an alternative. Different way of solving things. Red and yellow, right over here. Turn and turn. So now this will come to here. Turn. But it does give you some of the fun of a layer by layer. Yellow, don't see it up here. How about a red? Do see it here with this. And turn, turn. Still don't see yellow. If I don't see a yellow, I'm going to have to take it from here. So I want to take this and we'll move this up to the top here. Once I do that, now I can take this and move this down. Okay, so now this bottom layer is done. I've got these corners reduced and these edges reduced. Now notice I'm doing layer by layer at the same time, so I'm not doing all edges and then all corners. You could do that, but it's not really necessary. So now what I'm going to do is, now that I have this configured and this can move any direction, I'm now going to put these in. I'm going to do this to where I'm not going to change the position of any of these edges. There's no need. This one is already reduced, so we're done. This is okay here. This is okay here, so that's reduced. What about this? Well, I'm just going to put a blue one in here. Which one? Well, I don't see one here. Let me bypass that for now. Put a red one in. I don't see a red one in the right configuration, which would be in a edge position. Yellow, I do have this. So what I'm going to do is coordinate it like so. Put it down here. Turn, 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 up in here. So this is fine. I'm looking for a green. I can use this. Turn, 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 and turn. Okay, so doing this will not affect anything that I did with the other layers. So I still have these guys. Now sometimes when I do that, it puts something in this position, which it did. This can come down to here. This is all a variation of the swinging U technique. I still don't have a red one in position, so I'm going to have to take it from this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to borrow from the configuration of the algorithm from the last two centers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the algorithm that moves this to here, this to here, and this to here. And that's going to be Li U, R UI, L UI, RI, and turn it back down. And it's in. Now to those who were kind of astute to see that, that was really just the sliding U technique. So even the sliding U technique is not a new technique, just kind of another way of looking at it. But all of these have been reduced. So now I've got the top layer. The way that I do the top layer is by putting these in position. I'm going to first do the edges. So green to green, if I move that there. Yellow, or rather orange, I want to put an orange one in here. So this guy, come down to here. I wonder if I can take this and flip this upside down to here. Just move this here, and move this like so. Now after having done that, I want to take this corner that I reduced and put it down here. And I'm going to do that by going RI, DI, RD. Oh, here's another one here, RI, DI, RD. Okay, now this was already in, so I'm going to take this and move this up. This is going to go to here. This, well, let's take this and move this up. But I kind of want to move it out of the way from here. So this has to move down. Turn, 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 and turn. Okay, so with that said, well, we can reorganize things a little bit. This green can go here. This orange can go here. This blue, is there an errant blue? And this one, but it's kind of spoken for. So let's just go put that in. Move this here, this is in, this is in. Now we want to deal with these guys. So I want to move these up, and I want to kind of flip-flop this so that I can take this orange and move it down to here. The way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to do the algorithm. It'll keep this here, and it'll flip this. By going FRU, RIUI, FI, this is a orientation algorithm of the top layer. This will stay the same, this will flip, this will slide, and this will flip. So FRU, RIUI, FI. It's just kind of a quick way to move this into a position. Now I want to move this guy up. I want to turn this one upside down. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to manually do that. Here, here, and here. Now having done that, what I'm going to do is my strategy. This is going to come to here. But wouldn't it be nice if I can move this one to that side over here? So I'm going to keep this over here and do my RU, RU, R2U, RI until I move this right in this slot here. So I'm using the same algorithms just for different purposes. All right, so this can come here, this blue can come here, this white can come here. So that worked out really well. Turn this here, this is in, this is in, this is in, and now we have just a couple more to go. I'm just gonna scan around here. Okay, so this I have to flip upside down, and this I have to flip upside down, and this has to stay where it is. So I'm gonna hold this in this position. FRU, RUI, FI will keep this here. This will end up sliding, and this will end up flipping. So FRU, RIUI, FI. Okay, so now if I do it again, what I want to do is I want to keep this flipped here, this over here, and I want to flip this guy too. So how am I going to do that without destroying anything? Well, if I hold this here, I guess what I need to do is these I don't want to flip. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to do the algorithm until this comes across here, the permutation algorithm. RU, RIU. Now, I think you understand what I'm doing. I might be making it a little more cumbersome or difficult, but in any case, it's a matter of just orientation. So this is good here, this is good here. What I want to do now is I want this one to flip. And I can do that by doing the FRU, RUI, FI. This will stay the same. This will just slide here, and this will flip. FRU, RIUI, FI. And sure enough, everything that I want to be flipped is flipped. So now it's a matter of just putting them in. So this can come to here. This red one wants to be next to this. So let's move in that position. So I want these two to be next to each other. I'm going to hold it like this and do RU, RIU, R2U, RI. So this can come here. This can come here. This yellow one, well, what I really, yeah, okay, that'll work. So bang. Now what happened here is everything is in. I've got these two that are reciprocals to each other. So now I'm pretty much there in terms of the edges. I just have to move these guys opposite each other. RU, RIU, R2U, RI. Once they're opposite, I can move them twice. In order to prevent these two from becoming a problem, I'm just going to move the same color on either side. Be wary that I have these two corners that are reduced, so I'm going to move them down to exchange them with corners that are not reduced. RD. So now I go splat, reduced, 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 reduced. Every edge is reduced and so are fine. Now before I do any corner reduction, what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to put every edge and make sure every edge here is the same color. I'm just going to make it blue. That way, if I do that, then I can move these top layers and not destroy my edges. So blue, 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 one more blue, which is right here, and splat. So now as you can see, I can move my edges, move my top layer and not destroy any of my edges. I can move this any way I want. These are all fine. So now what I'm going to do is continue that process. I'm really just focusing on putting corners in with these corner edges. So this is already in over here. So let's look for the white and blue. White and blue is right over here. Move it in. This is in. Now let's move this whole 1 by 2 by 2 block up. Turn, turn, turn. Now I'm looking for the white and orange, which is right over here. R-I-D-I-R-D, D-I-R-D. So this is in. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is the same thing as I did before. I'm just going to slide these centers in. I don't see it at the top, and I don't see an orange at the top here either. So I can try to move that in. For instance, this white one should be up here anyway. So I'm going to take this and move this to the top. And turn. That's what I wanted to do. This will occupy this slot. Place it here. And turn. Okay, now an orange one has to come into here. I don't see any down here, so I'm going to have to borrow this one. Move this to the top. And now this can move into this slot. Bring it here. And done. So now this is reduced. So we keep doing that. So red and white, obviously it's not this one. Red and white, right over here. So be wary that now when I turn it, I'm going to destroy this, so I have to remember to turn it back, turn this in, so this is fine. R-I-D-I-R-D, R-I-D-I-R-D. So this is in here. Now, I don't want to destroy this, so I'm just going to do that again and move this back, just because it looks so symmetric there. Now that I got the red and white, what I'm actually looking for is the red and blue. Right here, red and blue. R-I-D-I-R-D, D-I-R-D. Move this in, and then we're fine. So now I just have this corner to go, edge to go, R-I-D-I-R-D, D-I-R-D, R-I-D-I-R-D, D-I-R-D, move it back just to get this back. So now I'm looking for the blue and white, which is once again here, R-I-D-I-R-D, R-I-D-I-R-D. Keep going. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to take this and move it to here. But the problem is, I destroyed this one, so how am I going to move this here and keep this in place? Well, this is going to be a standard technique that you're going to see with the AI cube. What we're going to do is we're first going to take this and move it next to here, just because it's easier to visualize. So I'm going to do a corner swap. To our U, to our UI, to our UID, to our UI, to our U, to our. Now to make this work, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this over to here. So this has been taken out of its layer. I'm going to move it one more time. Now if I do a corner swap, this will be transplanted to here so that one more turn will take this and put it back here. This will have come up to here and this will have come to here, so that same turn will put this in its place to here. So just to reiterate, when you get into a situation like this, move it in, then move it one more over and do a corner swap. To our U, to our UI, to our, turn, turn, to our UI, to our U, to our, and now one more turn will get this into where we want it, and this will be back. Now it's a matter of finding a blue to go into here, and that will be this. Now it's at this point that I should probably tell you what happens with that algorithm. But generally when you're doing the algorithm of center rotation, this will come here, this will come here, and this will come here. So just be wary of that as we get closer and closer to the end. So I'm going to put this in here and I want to get this down to here. So this will come here, this will come here, and this will come here. Not a problem right now, but might be worth noting later. And bring this back. So now this is in and this is in. We have two more to go. So we have blue, we have green and orange, and that's over here. So we're going to want to separate that out from this. D-I-R-D, R-I-D-I-R-D, R-I-D-I-R-D. So this will separate that out from here. So I'm going to move this into position here, and then R-I-D-I-R-D this so that, well, in actuality, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this here, R-I-D-I-R-D this so that this red can end up here, this red and white can end up here. R-I-D-I. So you can kind of multitask a little bit with this. R-I-D-I-R-D, move it in, we've got this here. So this is where it needs to be with this edge. Let's move this top side. R-D. Okay, so now I can, well, I've got a choice. What I can do is I can take this, and this obviously belongs with this guy over here. R-I-D-I-R-D, R-I-D-I-R-D. So, let's see what we got. This can come into here, and this will place this corner with all of its, all the edges except for this. I can move this into here, and this will be with all of its corners except for this. So basically what I want to do is I want to move this here at the same time that I move this here. Or actually better yet, let's do this. Move this into here. Now I can R-I-D-I-R-D this so that this whole slice can be on the top side. And then just move it back. R-I-D-I-R-D, R-I-D-I-R-D, and move it back. Now in so doing, we kind of have to calculate what we have to do next. This wants to come into here. And that's what I'm going to do. This will come into here so that this corner will be with this edge. This doesn't belong here anyway, so I can flip this. R-I-D-I-R-D, R-I-D-I-R-D. Do it again. And now flip it back. Now, in doing that, this is now in and this is now in. So I've got all of these corners lined up with the proper corner edges. I just have to deal with these. Well, these guys have to flip-flop. Well, they don't really have to flip-flop. I just have to three-cycle with the use of another red. So what this is going to do is let's go ahead and move this up. R-I-D-I-R-D, R-I-D-I-R-D. So how this is going to work is I want this to come to here, this to here, and this to here. That shouldn't be too hard to coordinate. I'm just going to take this and move this into this position here. All right, DIRD. Okay, so this orange will come to here with this orange. This red will slide into this slot easily to this red, and this red will come over to here, and it'll be done. So we're going to do our R, UI, LI, U, RI, UI, L, and move it back. Okay, a little bit of a miscalculation. These guys are not where they need to be, so they still need to be reduced. RD, RID, RID. Okay. So something went wrong with that, but easily fixed. Okay, this red needs to go to here. Okay, here's my problem. I said this goes to here, this goes to here, this goes to here. That's actually not what happens. What happens is that this goes to here, this goes to here, and this goes to here. So that'll fix it. Come here, here, turn, 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 and turn. Okay, so now it's reduced, and that's how you do it. Now, I hope this wasn't new algorithms for anyone, because basically I just use same old algorithms that you should know with doing any supercube solve or any center placement solve, basically. But this is now reduced in the configuration that I was talking about. So now we just do a standard 3x3 solve with these as corners, these are edges, and these are centers. So you can do the solve technique of your choice. Move this down here, here, here. And once again, as you have probably discovered and probably known, I am not a speed solver. Not my bag, not my cup of tea, not my skill. So move this over here. What I'm going to do is bring this over here, turn, and turn. This comes into here. So, like I say, standard 3x3 technique, beginner's method. Move this to where it has to go here. Turn. Now, the way I did this, another way you can do that is do a layer by layer solve. A simple layer by layer solve, doing this layer and just do that other layer over there, but just in case you wanted to see a pure reduction without doing a layer by layer at the same time, there you have it. Move this into place, turn, 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 turn. And this is how I do my slow and meandering FRU 3x3 solve. FRU, RI, UI. FI, FRU, RI, UI, FI. So these are all in. Here's a variation for you. What did I do? How did I do that? Okay, now we're just going to do our corner swaps to our U, to our UI, to R, turn, turn, to our UI, to our U, to R, bring it back. This is in. Turn, turn. And turn. I'm so glad nobody's timing me, because that would just be embarrassing. And turn, move this in, and moving it as I would a 3x3, and it's done. So there you have it. Different kind of reduction, give it a try. You can pretty much reduce any cube like this. As a matter of fact, I think this kind of reduction might even be another way of eliminating parity. But that is the answer to the challenge. Give it a try, and thanks for watching.